What's going on, y'all? It's your girl, Shauna Speaks, and this is the Male and Female Perspective Podcast. And I am with my dope host. I got my boy, Just Comply, in the building.
What's going on, Shauna?
What's
How you doing?
What's going on, Comply? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Y'all, we got a dope show for y'all today. So you already know how it go. Let's go.
Let's get it.
What's going on? This is your girl, Shauna Speaks to Inspire, and I am your host of the Male and Female Perspective Podcast, along with my dope co-host, Just Comply.
Shauna, Taco Tuesday. Did you get your taco in?
No,
Did you get your taco?
No, I had taco last night. It was Taco Monday for me.
Okay. I had to get mine in.
You got to get yours in? Yeah, I had to get it. How was your weekend?
Not bad at all. I ain't do too much of nothing besides working. So good. You know how that is. Life be lifing. You know how
life be lifing. What's going on today, Comply?
Man, look, I worked me 16 hours. Got off at 8 o'clock this morning. I was like, man, I'm about to, but I was like, okay, you know what? I got good enough rest to be like, okay, you know what? I can make it through. I can make it through. I can get on the podcast today.
Thanks for being on time.
You know what I'm saying?
You know
what? You ain't gonna let me live it down, huh?
Nah, that's why I sent you that early text. I was like, he gonna see this, okay?
I was already
out
up
here
by
with anxiety. No, I suffer from anxiety.
I was already up by that time.
I know that's why I
responded immediately back.
I was going to bed when I said that. You were up already.
Yep.
Yo, so tonight, this evening, this afternoon, wherever you are in the world, I got some stuff I need to get off my chest, Comply.
Let's get it off. First off, though, before we go any further, I do want to let everybody know that we are on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Buzzsprout. The Male and Female Perspective. Subscribe to us, share, listen, like. Give us some comments.
Follow.
Follow. Definitely, you know what I mean. Like big. We're on TikTok as well. You know what I mean.
That's right. We're on TikTok.
We trying to get it in.
We're in these TikTok streets.
We're in them streets.
In these streets. Okay.
In the streets.
In the scrubs. That's right. Like, follow, and subscribe. We got some dope content bi-weekly.
Give us some feedback.
That's right. Let us know.
I don't mind. Let us know what's up.
We got tough skin. We want the smoke.
He
smokes cigars. I don't, but I still want the smoke. Right?
A little puff give.
A little puff give.
Right.
So tonight I had to. We had to a little technical difficulties as always, but that's because the devil don't want us to get these words out. But we're gonna get it out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I've been on these TikTok streets. And I've been looking at the, red pill, blue pill, red 121, Dr. Seuss men, I'm going to call them.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting on my nerve, okay? And they're messing up my women. And again, for me to help women and to pour into women daily, it's hard because of what's going on TikTok. So, what did you say, Comply? What did you call these people? Before I call them something I don't want to call them.
So it's either you have social media swag or you're a social media bully. Which one? Which one is it?
Yep, social media swag or social media bullies. That's the topic today. Yeah. And I'll start it off because I had the problem. I watch for content. I watch to understand, right? I'm in my emotional intelligence era. I'm not taking things emotionally. I look at things from a logic standpoint to get an understanding of why men feel the way they feel for us women lately, and be able to take that back to my women and my women's group to express what's the concerns of, of the men.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say that there are a certain community of men that are banding together in a negative way, and they are spewing hate, distaste, dislike for us women. And I understand a lot of it that they're saying it doesn't apply. But what I realize is that these older men that are talking to the older women, and because the older women, i.e., they want to call them pick me's or whatever, they're not directly talking to our age group. They're talking to the next generation. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, even though the next generation think that we're a weaker generation, which I feel we're the stronger generation,
Mm-hmm.
they still hear this hatred towards women. So if
Mm-hmm.
they're scrolling through like I'm scrolling through, because everybody can scroll through, there's no age group. As long as you're 18, everybody get to see the same things fall on the For You page. My
Right.
question is, you saying that you're helping the community, and I'm not gonna call out some of these TikTok creators, because I definitely will put myself in a pickle, which I don't care. But later on, I probably will later on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you talk about the women. All of us are not dating Pookie and Ray Rays. A lot of us are
Mm-hmm.
dating a Kevin or a Samuel. I let
Mm-hmm.
that sit, and I land.
Mm-hmm.
What you say?
Um, One of the things that I have learned
Mm-hmm.
over these last couple of months that I've been, listening to certain platforms, and especially on TikTok, because it's such a large platform, that there's a lot of hurt people that need to heal before they get on these platforms trying to give advice, right?
Mm,
Because a lot of the time you're not giving advice from a helpful place.
right.
You're giving advice from a place of hurt, and you're you're just you're just manifesting hurt to other people, onto other people. You're transferring your hurt energy onto other people. You know,
Right.
um, one of the things that I looked at, and it's easier to say, well, if it doesn't apply, let it fly.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily the case. Like, we live in reality, and a lot of the times, even if it does not apply to you, it prickles you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It will get next to you if you hear it enough times, because it's like, well, yo, like, does every one of y'all feel this particular way? And it's the same way with, with when you go into the lives and you hear, oh, all men ain't this, men
Exactly.
this, men
Right.
this, men this. And so, like, I know that you ain't talking to me specifically,
But come
but
on.
however, like, I still represent my gender, you know.
That's right. That's
And
a
so
good
I
point.
understand where you were coming from when you were saying, like, it was like, yeah, I know that I'm not these particular women, but however, like, we still are responsible as men. And
Yeah.
this is what I want to say. We are still responsible as men to guard our women's ear gates in their
Mm.
hearts, in their spirits, right? Because it's easy to break somebody down. It's easier to break somebody down than it is to build them up.
Yeah, but now they use words like, "Oh, well, if this is bothering you, then you're triggered." No, some things are just insulting. I don't have to
Yeah.
be in it in order to be upset about what's being said, especially when, as a woman that wants to date and wants to date with purpose, if I'm
Hmm.
always being knocked out of the qualifying box, then what am I looking forward to? If I'm over here, if I got too many kids, something's wrong with me. If I don't have no kids, like we talked last week, something is wrong with me.
Hmm.
If I'm over here and I'm just sexually liberated and free, then something is wrong with me. And if I'm
Right.
too if I'm too secluded and
Conservative.
too
Yeah.
conservative, right? Thank you.
Hmm.
Then something is wrong with me. So then if we and then these are not coming from the men that don't have jobs and are the Pookie and the Ray Rays of the world. These are coming from so-called educated men. And
Right.
excuse me, but I don't care no more. These men were nothing, and they were lames when they were
Mm-hmm.
younger, and now they got a little bit of money, went to school, got a little muscles, they working out, and now they expect that their money, as one on one of the podcast guys said, Trip Fontaine on tonight's conversation, shout out to them,
Mm-hmm.
that these are men that think now because they got money and they educated that they're supposed to be wanted now by
Right.
the women. But guess
Right.
what? Now you're still in lane with money and educated and muscles. So
Right.
guess what you're going to do? So now you call us bitter, but these platforms that are happening that are not trying to change the community or help the men that you keep saying we going for, it's not, like I said, it's not the Pookie and Ray Rays, it's the Kevins and the Samuels that we got to worry
Right.
about. So now
Right.
you're bitter. You're growing and pulling in other men that are bitter. Now y'all are switching energies with us. Now y'all are emotional, and now we're logical. And now you're mad
Right.
because your money and your muscles, the women still don't want you. So now you want to sit and break down a generation and a gender because you can. Because it sells, because it pulls in more views to talk about women. But nobody's talking about the men that are not doing their job, that are not the fathers
Yeah.
in the community, that are not mentoring these boys. But you rather get on social media daily and make money at the hands and the backs of women to continue to break us down. We already got societal issues with our other counterparts, but now we got to come here and get it from the very person that's supposed to protect us. And I'm not talking about physically protect us, but spiritually and mentally protect
Right.
us,
The
because we
mental.
supposed to be for each other. So
Right.
forget the why are the women doing what we're doing. How about when and what we could do to fix it?
Right.
And it's just annoying. It's just really
I
annoying.
agree. I agree with you on that because um, at the end of the day, um, what I find out is that um, when you are a person that has been accustomed to not being heard, when you do actually get a platform where you can, actually use your voice, like you speak from a place that's different from when to you're used to people actually listening to you. You're used
Right.
to, people
Right.
actually, like if you pop in real life, then you don't worry about how social media look at. Like if I'm a wolf, if I'm an alpha dog out here in these streets,
You ain't gotta
I
keep
don't worry
saying it.
about what you think about. You know what I mean? I ain't got to do all of this unnecessary stuff because I
You
know
ain't gotta
I'm
say it every
popping.
sentence. I'm alpha, cause I'm an
No,
alpha, cause I'm an alpha, cause I'm an
yeah,
alpha. You 9 times
yeah,
out of 10, if you gotta self-proclaim yourself and nobody else is calling you that, then you're not that.
yeah. Like to quote one of my favorite shows, Game of Thrones. There's a gentleman on there. His name was Tywin Lannister. He told his grandson. He said, "If you always gotta say that you're the king, you're not a king."
You're not a king. You're not.
You know what I mean? Because everybody knows, like, if you walk in the room and you that dude,
You that dude.
everybody's gonna recognize it. Like, no,
Your swag
everybody's gonna recognize
is gonna be
that
seen.
swag. Right? You ain't got to bully.
No, you ain't
I ain't
got
got
to
to say
bully.
nothing. I ain't got to bring you down.
No,
I
you
ain't
ain't
got
got
to
to
do
bully
nothing
to the front,
whatsoever.
because if you about that, somebody would move out your way. Now he got to get to the front. She got to get to the
Yeah,
front.
make way,
Make way. But
part the
when
Red Sea.
right, but then when you got enough people or enough hurt men, right, that didn't know how to balance their emotions from getting hurt
Hmm.
by a woman, and I'm not sitting up here saying that that we are victims all the time, because we're not. But what I'm
Hmm.
saying is that every woman don't deserve to be put down, let down because of a few men, and then because biblically it's said that men will lord over us, but it's supposed to just be your husband, not your boyfriend,
Hmm.
not your baby father, not a dude you're sleeping with, but your husband will lord over you. But unfortunately,
Hmm.
because the way social media is every man seems to be lording over us, because like you said, our ear gates and our eye gates are not protected. Because
Right.
I can't understand these women that go on here and they sit and they listen and they sitting at the hands of the Kevin Samuels and the Patrice that used to be here. listening
Right.
to the misogynistic rhetoric. And they're in
Right.
there, and it saved my life, and he's right. And like you said, if it don't apply, don't let it fly. But you're doing yourself a detrimental because you go back with that detriment because you go back and take that into the community of these young girls. Forget about the older women. Not say forget about them, but we've made our decisions, right? So you can't keep hitting us with a hammer. We already know what we've done to ourselves. It's the fact that you're on here talking and you're a grandfather, a father, an uncle. You got younger sisters and you keep talking about 304s and this, that, and the third. And then when a woman gets on there, she's a dummy because her vernacular may not be as broad, or her vocabulary may not be as broad as yours. So because you got a little bit of word and you got a little army training and you went to school, but your pictures show you was a lame when you was a kid, it deems you to be okay to down women because you can. Instead of getting therapy and help from the women that didn't want you.
And then on top of that there's a level of accountability that is lacking because in my view, this is always my view. Like if I spend a lot of time talking about the women that have done something to me, like then it means that I have not healed from. I'm still there. You know what I mean? Like somebody still got my heart or my head or whatever that I'm talking from. Right. And for me, this is just me. Like that's a red flag. Mm-hmm. That's a red flag for me. If you can't break down where your accountability is and how you could have done better and put and lead with I. Lead with I. If you lead with I, then you don't have room to think about what they could have done. Their issue is their issue to deal with. And not to say that, a woman's always right or a man's always right or whatever. But if each person lead with I could have did this better. I could have said this better. I could have controlled myself. You know what I mean? Like I saw this going down this road, and I could have chose to go left, or I could have chose to pump the brakes, but I just went on full steam ahead, or what. There's always something that you can do, and a lot of times, what we find is these people get on these platforms or whatever, have this narcissistic thought process that you know what, I didn't do anything wrong. It was your fault.
It's always your fault.
You know what I mean? It was your fault. And because it's your fault.
Yes.
Mm-hmm, because it was your fault, now, every single woman now is the same thing that you were. Instead of, no, it was on me. I shouldn't have done that.
I should have vetted better.
No, there it is.
Because women, women, y'all don't get off the hook. Because these, and I said it to somebody yesterday. I said, and it's saying, right? If these men are as bad as we say they are, and there's no good men, like you said, there's no good men left. How do these no good men still end up being fathers? How do these no good men still end up in your beds? How does these no good men still be able to penetrate you? And even get your time. If the Pookies and the Pookies and Ravens are getting sex from somebody. And half of them are not a Bonquishas and TTs either. Mm-hmm. Some of them are educated women. Some of them got women that got jobs and careers. And because loneliness sits in, and I keep telling you about this, to sit down and heal before you start picking, because your pickings is everything, anybody you slept with in your time. Aside from when you first started up until now, you should have experience as to know what's good and what's bad from you. The men and the women that you sleep with is a direct reflection of you. Yeah. So if you keep picking bum men, you're a bum. Or you bummish. If you keep sleeping with women out of 304s and you keep deeming them not worthy, then you hoish too. Yeah. Because you don't get to sleep with somebody and then talk about them and call them names and they not this and they don't got this and she crazy, he crazy, he don't have this, they don't have this, they not doing this, but you slept with them. And you continue to sleep with them. And you keep sleeping with them. So
You
who
keep
fault it
sleeping with
is?
them.
Then these platforms are made. Because now the people that are asking these questions, they're asking it because they don't know how to get themselves in. So, you know what? Let me pose this question out there to social media because I've been doing something. But let me make it into, a rat race.
Right.
Who's the worst of the women and the men? But when you turn
That
around,
part right there.
it's no women questions, no men questions. It's all men. It's all to the women.
It's a whole lot of hypocrisy that goes
Oh,
on too, where
a
on one
whole
hand,
lot.
you know, you want things this way, then on the other hand, you want things that way. Well, you can't have things totally. I believe 100%, and you get what you give. You're not going to plant orange seed in the ground and get a watermelon. It's
Sure
just
not.
not going to happen.
It's not gonna
You know,
happen.
you can't plant a rose, a seed for roses and get an elephant ear. That's not happening.
It's not happening.
So what you put in the ground is what you get out of it,
You reap what you
and
sow.
you're going to get it, and more times than not. Let's go ahead and let's be honest. You do again. I said this to someone not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
You don't put one rose or rose seed down into the ground and then expect to get
Multiple.
just one rose.
No.
You know what I mean?
You
Like
gotta
you
put
don't
multiple
get just one
seeds.
rose. No, you put the seed down or whatever, and you expect that it's supposed to produce multiple in multitude, right?
Right.
So in that same vein, if
Mm-hmm.
you put negative down into the ground, you're going to get multiple
Yes.
negative coming back.
Exactly.
If you put positive, if you put love, if you put compassion, if you put understanding, if you put wisdom, if you put
Patience. Yes.
patience,
Yes.
those
Morals.
things come back to you,
Yes.
and they come back
Integrity.
to you in droves.
Yes. It's true. I agree. And what I noticed also, just putting on my life coach hat real quick,
Mm-hmm.
when I see these men talking, just like with the women, all I see is a bunch of little kids talking because it's the
Need,
inner child that's showing
yeah,
up. It's the inner
needing the
child.
attention,
It's the inner child showing out on these podcasts. I don't care if you
throwing a whole
60
tantrum.
and got a full goatee of salt and pepper. The
Mm-hmm.
your non what's the word I'm looking for? Your inability to control your emotions and
Mm-hmm.
spew it at a certain gender and type, that's your inner child because you got to be the loudest one. You got to be the
Mm-hmm.
most ignorant one. You got to be the one to disrespect anybody.
Obnoxious.
It's a coping mechanism, and it
Yeah.
shows. And as intelligent and as smart as you think you are, that little boy, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking to the men, is running rampant, making decisions
Yeah.
for you
Yeah.
because you didn't put him to sleep. You didn't tell him that, hey, you know what? Well, he can't go to sleep because half of y'all won't go to therapy to get healed,
Mm-hmm.
to understand how to rationalize and how to control your inner child and to protect him. So you just let him
You
come
know.
up and show up in any conversation. Women too, but we had this conversation already.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that I believe wholeheartedly, and I'm not a real big biblical or religious person, but I believe wholeheartedly, like when you're a child, you do childish stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes,
That's what you're supposed to do. But when you're a
exactly.
child, you do childish stuff. You respond childishly. You believe things childishly. You
Yep.
think childishly. But then when you grow up and you know better,
You're
then
supposed to
you
put a
put away
childish thing
childish
into the stand. That's what the
behaviors
Bible says.
and
Yes,
things. You
but
know what
they're
I mean?
not.
Like at some point in time, like
That was so
we
good,
have
LaCroix.
to get out of this notion that, you know what, I'm supposed to have this, and if I don't have this, it's this person's fault, or whatever the case may be, or
Right.
this person has done me wrong, or whatever. Not all the time does there need to be a hero or a victim in every, or a villain in every story.
It
You know
doesn't.
what I mean?
It
Not
doesn't.
every time. Like sometimes, you
But it
know
makes for
what?
good
You just
content,
need to
though.
accept your responsibility, your role in
Yeah.
that particular situation. Handle that. That's
Mhm.
all you need to handle. You can't handle nobody else. You can't do nothing for you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
to for me to to have dealt with what I've dealt with and then get on the platform and be like, well, all women, this, that, and the third, and a person like Shauna, who I've never met in my life, get on the platform and she feels a certain type of way. Now, her self-esteem is lowered because she heard me on the platform saying, well, all women, this, that, and the third. And
that's it.
That's irresponsible of me. And what happens is that if there is something that should happen, and this is what people don't realize, is that when you put those type of things out into the earth and it's received by somebody, you're responsible for the calamity that you cause. That's right,
because you're
even if
something.
it's in,
and biblically the
Bible even if it's
that.
inadvertent.
You teaching when a teacher is held the worst when it comes to judgment. When you have to sit before somebody, before God, and explain why you taught this or you said this or you deemed this. So being a teacher is a big responsibility, not even on earth, but just in the kingdom itself. And you just made a point that I'm trying to say. The point that you just said is the fact of why we had this conversation today about you saying things and a woman already feeling low about herself, trying to get herself together. I'm sitting on here giving tools and treatment and to help women to go about their day to be the best woman. To the women that you're claiming are this, I'm trying to change them and show them better and show them their faults, right? Why your baby father ain't nothing, or why you got multiple baby fathers. It's not only the guy, because you keep making the same mistakes, we can't blame him anymore. But how can I, right, if I'm trying to change the community of women, right? How can I take them and put them under my wing and give them the tools to go through daily to have a prosperous relationship? But then as soon as they turn on social media, they hear this. So it's like co-parenting, right? You can't co-parent with a parent that don't want to meet you at the same thing. Like, I'm not gonna, me and Kapla parents, we're not gonna take our child and show our child that we're fighting. We got to be the driving force together to let this child know, like, if you go over here with your father the weekend and I'm over here with me, we're gonna have a conversation so you don't try to get over on us. But y'all all keep talking about community, and y'all keep talking about, with community. No, you're making money on the backs of and the pain of women. You sit up here when we weren't protected in slavery times. And now here we go. Right. Now it's like modern day slavery at the hands of our men. Of our own color.
Yeah.
I don't go outside and turn on TikTok or social media and see any white tea person talking about me.
Right.
They're not talking about their women. They're not having bonfires on TikTok about their women, even if they felt the way. But we do that.
Right.
But then we want unity though. But we want to be taught the damage is already done. They already pitted us against each other, and it's working.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah.
So I can't sit here. I'm sorry. I can't sit here and do my job, and then as soon as they leave whatever session or coaching class that they got with me and go on TikTok, I told them, I said, you got to turn down your hours on TikTok, and as soon as you go into a place, even me, as strong as I am, I got some insecurity. If I go in and hear something that I'm insecure about myself, and I sit up there and get zoomed in like a moth to a flame, I'm gonna get sucked into it.
Right.
And now you got to get that stuff off you.
Yeah, you got to get it off of you. Yeah, and seeing that's the one thing that I'm very conscientious of, because I do feel there's a responsibility to me as the steward of your soul, the steward of your spirit, the steward of your mind. Right. When I speak and you and you're listening to me, or if you're paying attention to me, where am I trying to lead you? You know what I mean? Am I trying to lead you to positive? Am I trying to affirm you? Am I trying to inspire? Am I trying to lift you up, or am I trying to tear you down? You know what I mean? And because, how I feel like I lead is how, things will go. So
Right.
for me, I think there's a certain responsibility on me personally. So when I speak, there are certain things that I think about automatically. Like, what is my purpose? What is the
Right.
purpose of me saying this?
What is
And see, that's the one
that
thing.
part?
It's like I'm not going to turn on the microphone and just say random stuff
But they do.
just so that I can get likes, just
And
so
they
that,
do.
I could get viewership, just so that, at the end of the day, I can monopolize the platform that yes, of
But
course I
that's
want to
what's
make money.
happening. Right, but
Of
that's
course I want to
that's
make money. Of course I
yeah.
want to, but I want to be responsible with the lives that I touch as well, And so that's why I like the fact that we got together because, one of the
Yeah, me
things
too.
that I look at is that, like, for all the different platforms that is spewing this negative mess or whatever,
Yeah.
um, and throwing out this stuff where it's like it's disheartening.
It is.
That's what it
It
is. It's
is.
disheartening. But for all of those different platforms, like, we are definitely two strong individuals that look, if need be, if I need to call my girl, I'll be like, hey, you good,
Yeah, of course.
get a laugh or whatever else like that, because like you said, like, it, even the strong need strength after a while. You know what I mean?
Everybody
Even the
needs
strong
somebody.
need strength.
But you
Yeah.
said something
You
so
know?
profound is that I'm blessed at this platform that we're creating. And
Hmm.
because our platform is not so controversial, right? I'm sure to get there
Hmm.
because we're going to make a difference.
Right.
I
Right.
realize that like we said it in a couple of podcasts before about the positive is a slow move. It's like molasses. It moves, but it's slow,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
lies is like fire. It'll just take off and take everything in its path. It will destroy
Hmm.
everything in its path. And that's what unfortunately is happening to the positive side of TikTok and YouTube and the
Hmm.
negative side of TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. You have more
Right.
people monetizing on the pain of people. You got
Right.
women and men, and this goes, like we're gonna do the mental health from the view of a woman.
Hmm.
You got women and men that I deal with daily, even on my job versus what I love to do on here, that
Hmm.
are struggling every day just to wake up,
Yeah. Yeah.
just to breathe, just to be able to turn over and eat something, to get out
Hmm.
of bed, just to go to work to make the bare minimum, living paycheck to paycheck. And unfortunately, when our mind starts racing, instead of prayer and meditation, the first thing we do is pick up our phone. We might play a game, might have a solitaire game in there, but the most thing we're doing on TikTok. It's so bad on TikTok that they got people saying, hey, you've been scrolling for a long time. You might want to put the phone down. You're like, F you,
Yeah.
don't tell me what to do. I'm going to stay on here. Then
Right.
you next thing you turn around, been on there for 6 hours. I'm guilty, right?
Yeah.
Whether I'm looking for content or I can't sleep. But then you get on here and you say these things, call women dummies, and you this and you that, and then, oh, well, you go outside with bonnets. I get it, but there's a way to be able to gravitate and pull people in a
Hmm.
positive way than to say you're stupid, you're this, you're dumb, you're not worthy, you're not worthy with one kid. But how did I
Hmm.
get that one kid? You
Right.
think in the beginning when I first started dating that it was that the guy didn't tell me lies and I wasn't trained to know when a man is lying because I was taught that you trust people until you can't. So
Right.
now I have a kid. Then you go through life again and now you know a little bit more, right? Or
Hmm.
you don't know that women are devious and gonna lie and say you hit them and they didn't. Now
Right.
you learn from that mistake. So now we both are tarnished. But do we stay? Do we stay tarnished or do we get cleaned up and find out if I'm gonna treat everybody the same going forth, or every man or every woman is the same in my life going forth?
Right.
And nobody wants to
Right.
do that. So I'm saying all that to say is that these people, you have, like you said, have responsibility. First of all, not just to speak from emotions, but to have some facts and
Hmm.
some researched facts that you're saying. First of all, you're using words wrong. Trauma bonding and pandering and all these words you're making up because you don't like something. That's what's really messing up our community. These words that we're using. If I'm for men and I'm telling you everything's a label, but everything's mislabeled though. And guess what happens when you mislabel something?
It gets taken in the wrong context.
And it messes up life. You think right now, if I take some medicine right now and it's mislabeled and I pull it in the syringe and I'm giving, and it says supposed to give 1 microgram, but I gave 1 milligram. Do you know that's gonna kill somebody?
That's what
if it's mislabeled, unallow somebody. If it's mislabeled, it's the same thing. But y'all don't care because you're making money. You're getting gifts. People are paying you. So you don't care. You go to sleep with your family and don't realize that the very thing that you're spewing out is going to happen to you. You can't do that.
Yeah.
It's one thing to talk from a place of heated conversation with a heart to help than talk to somewhere from an evil place to hurt.
Yeah. I agree.
And I'll land with that.
I agree. And it's definitely we definitely have work to do. Let's just go ahead and let's just put it that way. Yeah, we have work to do. And you know what? To be honest with you, the work starts with the conversations that we have. You know what I mean? Like only thing we could do at this particular point in time is put it out there. Let folks know, like, look, it's the same way that you hear these people that has got these negative things to say and whatever like that. You also have some of us on the other side that understand the struggle. They understand, the need for accountability. They understand that, you know what, you don't have to be, you don't have to have swagger to be a bully, or you don't have to be a bully to have swag. Right. You know what I mean? It's not something that goes hand in hand. It's not exclusive to each other. Like I can lift you up and still have swag, because my swag is still going to be present even when I big you up, even when I help you, even when I say you can do better. Even when I say, there are certain things that I needed to work on in order for me to get here. So I understand, like those things can be done at the same time. And that's the problem, is that, too many times you get on some of these platforms and people feel as if, their truth is the only truth.
Is it really truth though?
But is it really truth? Have you actually sat down and actually told yourself the truth? And that's the biggest thing. Like you said, you trying to tell us your truth.
Right. You're not going to confront yourself.
But if you've lied to yourself enough times, then that's your truth.
Believe it, and you're going to believe it. And you're going to believe it. You're going to forget that it was, you're like, nah, you're like, that's a lie? No, that's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah, it's the truth.
Because you have habitually told yourself a lie to the point where you tell the story as if it's the truth, but in actuality, it's a whole lie. It's still a whole lie.
Whole lie. Whole face lie.
Whole face lie.
Whole lie.
I'm trying to tell you.
Lie. But we are definitely, like you said, we definitely got some work to do. We definitely, I think, we're going to figure it out to go live more, because the live is what is happening now, like going on, right?
In real time.
And that gives momentum to what we're trying to do. Like I said, I'm really proud of this project and everything. And I know it's going to be good because it's different. It's different. Every time I turn on, I'm like, yeah, this is not it. I might even go live today with the girls later on to keep this going.
One of the best things about it is that every single person that I've gotten to listen to this have given me positive feedback. That is the crowning jewel for me. You know what I mean? Like everyone that has listened to us has said, has given nothing but positive feedback. I like that.
because we're speaking from truth, and it's not venom. And then
Right.
like I told my girls the other day, I said sometimes I talk to y'all in a calm tone. I said, but
Mm-hmm.
what's most aggravating is that I take my time away from doing what I want to do, and I give a day up to dedicate to y'all twice a
Mm-hmm.
month, 2 hours. Y'all could call on me all day if you need to,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm teaching y'all, and I'm even giving you what I'm going through,
Mm-hmm.
and what I'm being taught, and what I've learned in these
Right.
past couple of years of being a life coach. And then I got to see my work not being
Mm-hmm.
used.
Implement it. Right.
It's
Yeah.
not being implemented.
No.
It's like now I feel like you just using me to pour and
Mm-hmm.
to pack your stuff onto me. But as I pour
Mm-hmm.
into you, it's like you're blocking it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the
Got
same
it.
time, I feel like some of it got to be used. Some of it
Yeah.
has to be used. But it's disheartening to be a coach to do what these men saying. Well, they first question. Well, if you because again, every woman that's in the comments ain't never the one that the women are talking about. They're never the
Ever.
304s. They're never the ones that's bitter. They're always the ones that got it together. It's never that
Mm-hmm.
person in the comments, right?
Never. Never.
But then in the same breath, I am doing the community a service. I don't care if I'm
Mm-hmm.
coaching 5 women. That's gonna be 5 women less that you could talk about that can understand that somebody cares about them to show them
Mm-hmm.
this is what you need to be doing,
Right.
right? Other than monetizing off of me calling you names. Yeah, I said so when I'm getting at you, and a way it's harsh, but it's a sting of love versus a slap
Mm-hmm.
of you just listening to what's going on.
Right.
And then I've learned also, and I maybe because and then men have a stronger presence because this is why they're needed in the household because y'all men have a natural stronger presence when it comes to speaking something. I've learned
Mm-hmm.
that women will listen to a man first and realize he's lying later, but then listen to a woman last and realize she told him the truth later, first.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
that's my thing because I say, oh yeah, don't do this, don't do that. You should be this way. The men don't like this and da da da. From my perspective and what I've learned in my research of talking to guys, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
still take the
Mm-hmm.
positive from what I'm seeing on TikTok and these different social media platforms, and then I go and they go, oh okay, oh, and then it's like they don't listen. But then in
Mm-hmm.
the same breath, they'll come back and go, "Oh yeah, because I listened to this coach and he said blah 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 blah," and I
Mm-hmm.
and I go, "But I said that to you."
Right.
I said so if you are geared to listen to a man coach or a male's presence, then by all means do that because listen to both sides is not gonna work for you. So that's why these male platforms are moving the way they're moving because they have a presence. That's why I did the
Right.
male female perspective podcast because I know my perspective can be reinforced or can be debunked by having another male presence
Mm-hmm.
because y'all are the strength, and this is why women are being tormented and feeling the way they feel and internalizing what y'all men say on these
Right.
platforms because your presence is strong and needed, but you're using it for evil, and that's the part that I have a
Right.
problem with as a female life
Yeah.
coach. I have a problem with that,
I can agree with that.
unfortunately.
I can definitely. I can agree with that. We got again, but we gonna do this work. We gonna keep it pushing. We gonna do this
Yeah.
work. And
Yeah.
one episode at a time.
One episode at a
One
time.
episode at a time.
One episode
Well,
at a
you
time.
know what? You have any? I mean, you have anything you wanna to say to wrap it up?
Um, what I want to say is, women, don't internalize these lame men out here. Don't internalize if you know you're not the woman that they're talking about. Don't internalize it. Don't let it be about you. Stay out of these hellhole of these rooms because it's
Mm-hmm.
detrimental to your healing. If you are doing healing or therapy from a relationship, past traumas at the hands of men or your father or your brothers, it's not good for you to be in these red pill, whatever, blue pill rooms. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to tear you down. And any work that we as therapists, life coaches, mindset coaches, psychologists, psychiatrists are doing we're fighting against that. So do yourself a service, get the training, get the therapy, get the coaching that you deserve, and then later on take a fast from social media and be careful. Like, discern what you allowing in your eye gates and your ear gates. Mm-hmm. Like these two here, you be very, very, very careful. You have anything else to say?
I say to all the women, especially since this is the topic that we're speaking on. You are your first steward to your eye and your ear gate. So be careful what you entertain, right? Mm-hmm. And entertaining means watching, means hearing, means internalizing, means responding to. You are responsible for all those things. Those are your responses. Those are your actions. Those are you actions, right?
Yep.
So if you feel a certain type of way, if your spirit is vexed, if you are perturbed, if you find yourself having self-doubts, feeling that your value is being lessened, you have every right whatsoever to disengage from whatever it is that's making you feel that particular way. Don't allow the opinion of one person to tear down what God has built up. And I'll end there.
And this has been another episode of the Male and Female Perspective Podcast. I'm your humble host, Shauna Speaks. And
I am Just Comply.
And you know what to do. Follow, like, subscribe. Like you
Please.
said, just comply.
Just comply.
Later, y'all. Have a good night.